Hi everyone. This is a video I've been intending to make for a little while now. I was just looking for the right window of opportunity, and I have a recent edition of The Sun which sort of exemplifies this story. I'm just going to show you the cover. I'm not sure how good that lighting is. Got light on. Yeah. It's Devil Dogs. This reports about the breed, the now infamous breed known as American Bully XLs. Let me just put my cards on the table from the outset, just so you know where I lie, and if you vehemently disagree, then you might want to stop watching. Uh, just so you're clear on my position, I absolutely 100% support banning these dogs. I don't think they have any place as someone's pet, and I think they're a public safety risk. I absolutely think they should be banned. Um, and I just hope there isn't a lingering process, because the longer it waits, the longer that this takes, then the more potential victims there are. Now, I don't think that banning them will automatically stop attacks, but it will reduce the number of attacks, possibly, because if you have a situation where a dog is banned, you're going to have a situation where it's not going to be in commercial usage in the same way. I'm not saying it will immediately stop attacks, but I think it does stigmatize them sufficiently that reasonable people won't go out and buy them. And I think that where you have criminal elements, then they could be arrested. I think. Anyway, I'm going to get into reading this report because I've strong views on it. I have to be honest. I think that one thing that really infuriates me is the attitude some members of the public take to this, and it's usually people who have them as pets or similar powerful breeds, and it's usually along the lines of, "Oh, you can't blame the breed; it's got nothing to do with the breed." This to me is an utterly brainless argument. Um, I've always made the point. Of course, any dog can bite, right? You could be bitten by a greyhound or a dachshund, or hell, my little sister has a dachshund, and he was certainly capable of defending himself. You could be bitten by a golden retriever. You could be bitten by any dog, right? Um, but they're missing the point. They're utterly missing the point. With this breed in particular, there is a far, far more significant public safety risk. I've got to read out the report. It's not too long. Um, and the Home Secretary is trying to push this ahead to ban them, and I hope she does. This report's by Harry Cole. Bear with me, it's not excessively long. The Home Secretary last night vowed to outlaw killer XL bully dogs. Suella Braverman aims to ban their breeding and sale after the latest horror attack on a girl 11 plus two men who intervened in Birmingham at the weekend. Um, Bullies have been linked to 9 deaths, including three children since 2021. Now, bear in mind that's just 2 years. 9 deaths in 2 years from one breed. Ms. Braverman left said they are terrorising our communities and pose a particular threat to children. It must end. The report continues. Excuse me. Suella Braverman branded XL bully dogs clear and lethal danger as she moved to outlaw them in this country. The report's also by Thomas Godfrey and Andy Robinson. The Home Secretary last night pledged to ban the devil dogs the day after one mauled an 11-year-old girl and two men in an appalling attack. Ms. Braverman tweeted, "The American XL bully is a clear and lethal danger. Where are we here? Is a clear and lethal danger to our communities, particularly to children. We can't go on like this. I have commissioned urgent advice on banning them." Afterwards, she told The Sun, "Myself and the policing minister, Chris Phipp, have commissioned urgent advice on options to enhance public safety and ban their breeding and sale. American bullies, including the XL breed, have been responsible for 73% of dog-related deaths in the UK since 2022, but make up a tiny percentage of the total canine population. The number of attacks means Britons are 270 times more likely to be killed by American bullies than any other breed," says campaign group Bully Watch UK. Disturbing footage posted to social media on Saturday showed an XL bully mauling the girl before savaging a man in Borders of Green, Birmingham. Hopefully, this awful attack will be the wake-up call, although it's too late for others. The horrifying clip, later shared by the Home Secretary online, alongside her plea to remove the dog, shows the animal savagely biting the girl's arm. The rampaging hound was briefly held by a man in a green tank top, but it then escaped and attacked another man wearing a white t-shirt, bum bag, and shorts. But as he attempts to flee, the dog chases him into a Texaco petrol station, making him fall over. Um, West Midlands police said an 11-year-old girl was bitten as she ran past the dog as it was being walked by its owner. Two men intervened but were bitten and left with injuries to the shoulders and arms. They were taken to hospital. The dog was initially taken to a local vet to be checked over before being taken into secure kennels. Wasn't even put down. So, I mean, I hope it stays in those kennels. The owner of the dog has been spoken to by officers. Why the hell wasn't he arrested or she arrested? There have been 9 fatalities linked to XL bullies since 2021, 3 of them of which were children. XL bullies are bred from a combination of dogs. The main one is the American Pit Bull Terrier, which is already on the banned dogs list. So that's already a component of what these animals are, which was banned here in 1991. However, underground breeders can mix legal pit bulls with other dogs, so it's a loophole, right? Um, a Sun and Sunday probe earlier this year found unregistered breeders offering the canines for as much as £2,500 over the internet. Bully Watch UK said, our research shows American bully type dogs have been responsible for 44% of all reported attacks by dogs since the start of the year, with the Bully XL involved in 22% of all attacks. Last year there were 22,000 dog attacks causing injury in England and Wales and 16,000 in 2018. Ex-Justice Secretary Robert Buckland backed the ban, saying, I am deeply concerned by the rise of attacks on people, pets and livestock by XL bully dogs. Dog breeder Stan Rawlinson, 76, said these dogs are a danger to women, children and everyone else. There's something wrongly wired in them. They're incredibly powerful. They can open up your jugular veins almost immediately. I wouldn't go near one. I've been around all sorts of dogs, even the most dangerous, but these XL bullies are very reactive. Now, this is coming from an experienced breeder. Um, Eliza Allen of People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals added it is undeniable fact that the most serious and fatal dogs attacked are by bully breeds. And if you look at a list on Wikipedia of all the fatal dog attacks in this country in recent years, they're almost universally bully type breeds, and of that, a large proportion are specifically American Bully XLs. Jack Liz Tim was one of 9 people killed by XL bullies in the past 2 years. The lad from Caerphilly was attacked at a pal's house in November 2021. In March 2022, 1-year-old Bella Ray Birch was mauled to death by her family's new dog at home in St Helens, Merseyside. 4 months later, Joanna Robinson, 43, was savaged by her dog in Rotherham. I remember those cases. Then in August, Ian Sims, 34, was mauled by his dog the first time he took it out in Fareham, Hampshire. Now, this is his own owners. So what sort of threat is it going to pose to the public? Widow Shirley Patrick, 83, died in a brutal mauling in Caerphilly in December, also Caerphilly. Natasha Johnson, 28, died when 8 dogs she was paid to walk turned on her in Caterham, Surrey, in January the 12th this year. Also in January, Alice Stone's 4 was killed in Milton Keynes. Um, Now, that young lady who was walking, 8 dogs, that's clearly too much for anyone to handle. But there is clearly something off about this particular breed. Clearly, it's more powerful than other dogs. So that again reiterates that whilst any dog can attack, this is a dog is built to grip like a vice. It's got an almost jaguar-like power. I mean, and I have to be honest, aesthetics in itself shouldn't be a way to ban them. But personally, I'm sorry, but this is not cute to me. Frankly, to me, that's scary. That's an animal that has menace in its eyes. And I know that might sound like a very Victorian attitude, but I don't think they look cute and family friendly and pet worthy. I think they look like potentially killer dogs, which is what they are. Um, so the dogs are banned already under the 4 banned breeds. There's only 4 that are banned. 4 breeds of dogs: the Pit Bull Terrier, Japanese Bosa, Dogo Argentino, and Fila Brasileiro. I'm pronouncing that correctly, are banned in Britain. All were bred in foreign countries for fighting and were outlawed by the 1991 Dangerous Dogs Act. Crossbreeds of the four can also be prohibited on a case-by-case basis. Pit Bull Terriers were banned after 15 fatal attacks in England and Wales from 1981 to 1991. So 15 fatal attacks in that 10-year period. But with this breed, XLs, we're talking almost the same number in a much shorter time. So what does that tell you? The Tosa is still bred to take part in dogfighting in Japan. Peter Brasileiros, commonly known as Brazilian Mastiff, was banned following spate attacks around the world. The dog of Argentina was developed for big game hunting. Owners can have a banned breed only with court-granted exemption. Keeping one is punishable by an unlimited fine or up to 6 months in prison. Well, frankly, it's time to follow suit with these XLs. What I would say is I would propose something like this: put them on the dangerous dogs list with the fact that it's evidence based, the fact that they're disproportionately being responsible for so many fatal attacks, and that doesn't even include all those people scarred, not just physically scarred, no doubt mentally scarred. I mean, that's going to cause them great anxiety around any dogs. Um, but yeah, I would definitely put them on the banned dogs list. I would give every owner of, and that is every single person out there who has one already, I'd give them, say, 48 hours to hand it over. And I'm not talking about putting them down, put them into secure kennels. But yeah, I would give a sort of deadline for people to hand them over because they're simply too dangerous to be around the public. And a lot of those attacks were against their own owners. So what would they do to strangers if that's what they do to their owners? Um, I would definitely threaten breeders with jail. I'd take a hardline approach to this across the board. Now, people will say, oh, but banning them won't stop attacks because you'll still have criminals out there who will breed them. But this very much rings to me like, well, let's just do nothing. It's a little bit like, I would compare it to the American gun argument, where you get American gun owners say, oh, well, let's not, have any gun regulation because it won't stop bad guys with a gun. Well, it's the same argument here. I'm not saying everyone who owns one of these dogs is a thug, okay? Although I would question anyone why would they would want to own this particular kind of dog when it's exceptionally powerful and it's clearly not meant to be a family pet. I would question the logic of anyone who wants to own one, but I accept not everyone who does is a criminal or a thug. But my question to them would be, how can you be absolutely sure that your pet won't turn on someone? Maybe it hasn't done so far, but how can you ignore the facts? How can you ignore the information that is available? If this was one or two attacks, you could maybe put it down to coincidence. But nine fatal attacks from one breed, it infuriates me that people ignore the obvious and they try to say, oh, any breed can attack. It's got nothing to do with the breed. Wake up, people. Wake up. I mean, how many more people are going to be mauled by these animals before something is done? So yeah, I make the analogy with the American gun argument because it's kind of like, um, oh well, guns don't kill people, bad people with guns kill people. Well, that's like saying these dogs don't kill people; it's just their bad owners who kill people. But the fact of the matter is, those bad owners are picking these particular breeds. Those bad owners aren't they're not getting greyhounds or golden retrievers or other breeds that are not mauling people. Okay, now I've heard an argument that if you ban them, they'll just move on to the next powerful animal. Maybe so, but fundamentally, I believe that public safety is far, far more important than the reputation of one particular breed. And I get it. If you own one of these animals, maybe you take it personally because you're thinking, oh, well, my little whatever can't do anyone any harm, and he's charming and he's never hurt me. But all it takes is one switch. I mean, I'm sure all of these attacks were from animals that hadn't attacked people before. Then something went off. Maybe there's a chemical imbalance in the brain. Maybe it's something to do with the breeding programs that's affecting their, I don't know, I'm no expert, but maybe there's something going on that is affecting their temperament compared to other dogs. That means that they're a public danger. So something has to be done. This idea that we just need to improve the training or we need to educate people. I'm sorry, it's not enough. It's just not. Because I don't think you can train these sort of animals. I think that whatever it is that's in their system, whatever steroids that is put in there, I mean, XL, right? Extra large, I assume that means. Um, they are predestined to be dangerous, as far as I'm concerned. And that is proven by what's been happening. So I really hope this goes ahead. I hope they're banned. I accept that it isn't going to immediately stop dog attacks, but I think we will see a reduction. It won't be eradicated, unfortunately, that's probably impossible. But, as far as I know, there hasn't been attacks by those other breeds since they were banned. I mean, the attacks in recent years, there hasn't been an attack by a Japanese Tosa or uh, Doggo Argentina or the other breeds because they were stigmatized, because they were taken off the market. As long as these creatures are in the public arena, they're a threat. Now, if you make them illegal, take them off the public arena, yes, you'll still have criminals using them. Okay, so the police need to be robust in arresting those people. But the idea of simply doing nothing is preposterous. And I really, really think this idea that all breeds pose an equal threat it's insane. And it needs to be forcefully challenged because it is quite clearly nonsense. It just defies common sense. You cannot tell me that a golden retriever or a greyhound pose the same threat as an American Bully XL. They just don't. Sure, they can bite people. They might even be capable of mauling someone in exceptional circumstances. But you simply don't have people being killed every few weeks, it seems it now is, by other breeds. It's always bully type dogs and almost always bully XLs. Ban them. Ban them now. I mean, I'm a grown man and they scare me. So what could they do to a little child or an old person? It's, it's honestly quite scary. And hell, if I saw them on the street, I'd be crossing to the other side because these animals are powerful. They've an attack instinct like a wild animal. So yeah, absolutely, they should be banned immediately. I appreciate everyone's not going to agree with this. All I ask you is please do not try and argue that the breed is irrelevant because quite clearly it isn't irrelevant. Um, I have strong views on this because, I haven't known anyone personally who's been mauled by a dog, but I've seen pictures of it and, it's horrible. It's a horrible thing. It's a shocking, terrible thing. Um, I do think, when it comes to, I think they should be banned outright, but I do think definitely there are bad people that own them. I do think there's criminal thug types who use them as a weapon of status. Sometimes gangs use them to intimidate other gangs. I think people like that belong in prison. Definitely, the dogs should be confiscated. I'm not, by the way, proposing they all be put down. I mean, if the dog itself is being pumped with steroids, that's not its fault. But I think they should be put into a secure kennel and basically let them live their natural life, feed them, exercise them with maybe I don't know trained SAS soldiers because apparently that's what you would need with these animals. But let them live their natural lives and just basically die out naturally. I don't think that they should be bred any further. I think this breed should be allowed to die out naturally. Not in a cruel way, not in a, I'm not proposing any form of cruelty here. But I'm saying let them die out naturally because they have no, they just should not be in the public arena. And again, I question anyone who wants one of these things as a pet. They're clearly not meant to be pets.